Welcome back, friends, to the new session of subject Transportation Engineering 1 for the unit number 6, Tunnel Engineering. Okay, myself, Assistant Professor Nitish Mohite, working in the Department of Civil Engineering of Bharati Vidyapit's College of Engineering, Kolhapur. So, in the today's session, we are going to discuss these points, that is sequence of tunnel construction operations, then what are the tunneling methods, and correspondingly how the tunneling has been done in the hard rocks. Okay, so in the previous session we have gone through the various points like how the classification of the tunnel is being done. Okay, on the basis of alignment, depend upon how the usage is there, what are the size and shapes of the tunnel, its advantage and disadvantage. Okay, so in this session we'll discuss these points. So for more details you can log in to the for initial information about the tunnels you can see the previous video. Okay, so we'll see one by one sequence of tunnel construction operation. Okay, so basically there are certain stages how the tunnel is been constructed. Okay, and correspondingly it goes on working step by step. Okay, so it depends upon, that is the tunnel construction operations depends upon the site conditions, then what is the size of the tunnel, and correspondingly what type of method of construction is supposed to be adopted. Okay, so there is certain or general sequence of the operation which is carried out during the construction of the tunnel, which is nothing but first in which the setting up and drilling has been done, then loading holes and firing them has been done with the help of the explosives, then ventilation has been provided, and whatever is the dust which has been formed, okay, in order to just remove it. Okay, after explosion which has been formed, ventilation has been provided, then loading and hauling muck is done, whatever the said during the explosives, whatever the correspondingly mucking all the rocks which are been fallen down that are supposed to be taken outside. Then correspondingly if there is presence of any groundwater, then you are supposed to remove that groundwater. Then you are supposed to provide the supports for the sides and roofs if there any is there any necessary is required, because there are certain chances of having rock falling or any settlement of the upside surface. Then you are going to place the reinforcement, then finally placing concrete lining, so that it is nothing but the final point. Okay, so here you can see, so first of all as I told you, setting up and drilling has been done. Okay, here first of all setting up and drilling is done, so here you can see the drilling is been done, okay, by the equipment. Then correspondingly the loadings, okay, after drilling the holes, okay, so in that holes correspondingly the explosives are being just filled up, okay, and they are being blasted up, okay, or firing has been done. Then correspondingly after firing that, okay, the dust is supposed to be formed. So in order to remove that dust, the ventilation is supposed to be provided. Okay, so the workers who are going to work there, they can work it easily. Okay, then after ventilation, okay, after the explosion, okay, so whatever the rock has been fallen down in the tunnel, that you are supposed to take it off. That is been taken off by the other equipment. Okay, then correspondingly scaling has been done up to certain, okay, whatever the suppose rocks are there that can be easily fall down, that correspondingly you are going to make use here. Okay, scaling has been done, and finally correspondingly The supports are being provided, okay, for sides and roofs. If necessary arises, correspondingly, if there is any groundwater emerging is there, you are going to pump it out. And correspondingly, reinforcement has been placed. Here you can see, and correspondingly, concrete lining will be done. Okay, so this is the general sequence of constructing the tunnel. Okay, moving further to the next point, tunneling methods. So there are several methods of tunneling, okay, which depends upon site, as I told you, site conditions, size of the tunnel, size of the bore, okay, the equipments which are required for the shed or which are available, okay, and correspondingly up to which the timbering is been required. So basically they are being classified into two types. First, either to do the tunneling in the hard rocks or corresponding tunneling in the soft rocks. Okay, so these are the two methods. Okay, so in this session we are going to discuss the first only, that is tunneling in the hard rocks. Okay, so tunneling in hard rocks, there are various methods. So out of that, first one is full face method, second one is the heading and benching method, third one is the drift method, fourth one is the pilot tunnel method, and fifth one is perimeter method. So we'll see one by one. Okay, so first one is nothing but the full face method. Okay, so here you can see, so this method is nothing but one of the tunneling method in which correspondingly adopted when the length of the tunnel is more than correspondingly 3 meters. Okay, so in which large size tunnels in rocks are driven by this method. Okay, so in this method, vertical columns, okay, so here you can see vertical columns are being fixed to the face of the tunnel. So these are nothing but the face of the tunnel, and to which a large number of drills may be mounted. Okay, so the sliding drills are been mounted here. Okay, so which are been fixed at a suitable height as shown in figure here. And correspondingly, a series of drills are being done at about 120 centimeter center to center, and correspondingly in the desired rows, preferably in two rows. Okay, and correspondingly then you are supposed to explode it by filling that correspondingly hole after drilling by explosives, and correspondingly the muck is being removed. Okay, so as I told you, so suppose this is the full face. Okay, so what is been done, correspondingly the vertical columns are being erected and drilling is being done, and correspondingly after drilling the holes, the explosives are being filled and they are being ignited, and whatever the rock or material is going to fall, that has been mucked up. Okay, that has been just taken outside. Okay, so the best method of this full face method is nothing but the tunnel boring machine. Okay, so in which directly entire process has been carried out without having any kind of error. Okay, so as it is having greater efficiency as compared to more, but it is having also certain restrictions as per the cost of the said hiring the equipment goes on increasing. Okay, so we'll see what are the advantages. The advantage is that since an entire section of the tunnel is being tackled, okay, at one time the method is completely expeditiously, okay, so simultaneously or the entire work is being carried out. Okay, so that is the advantage. Then mucking tracks, which are the tracks which are used for collecting muck. Okay, so that is rock falling or whatever the dust is been fallen down. Okay, that can be laid on the tunnel floor and extended as the work progresses. So you can go on doing the completion. Okay, as the correspondingly work is going inside, you can go on targeting the further work. With the development of the jumbo or drill carriage, this method can be used for larger tunnels too. Okay, so if suppose the length of the tunnel is more, in that case also you can go for the use of this full face method. But there are certain disadvantages also of the full face method of the tunneling. So the method requires heavy mechanical equipment. So as I told you, tunnel boring machine is the example. Then it is not very suitable for unstable rocks. Okay, so basically, whenever there are certain falling of the rocks are there presence, so in that case you cannot go for full face method. Also, it cannot be normally adopted for small tunnels only, because as the equipment required is more, okay, and it is heavy one, okay, from expenditure point of view, it is not suitable, okay. So generally we are saying that if the length is been more, in that case you are supposed to go for this full face method, okay, in which you can make use of TBM, that is tunnel boring machine. Moving further to the next method of tunneling in the hard rock, that is heading and benching method. So here you can see the correspondingly the tunnel cross section is divided into parts. Okay, correspondingly here. Okay, here also you can see, in which correspondingly the top portion of the tunnel is known as the heading, and the bottom part here you can see it is called as bench. Okay, so usually this method is adopted for railway tunnels, in which correspondingly the top portion of the heading, which is above the 3.7 or 9.6 meter head from the bottom, it is been just removed, okay, without any supports, and correspondingly the top heading generally is advanced, okay, and if the rock is been broken, then correspondingly the heading can be driven out, okay. So here you can get it, okay. So first of all, the top heading is been carried out, okay, whatever the mucking is been required, that has been required, taken out from the top. Then you are having a proper platform, okay, for taking out the seed whatever the muck is there, okay. So as I told you, in the hard rock, the heading is been bored first, and the holes are driven for the bench. Okay. So correspondingly, the holes are been driven here, and then the bottom part is been removed. Okay. So here, whatever the remaining part is this, that has been removed after. Okay, by doing the drilling the drills. Okay, by holes. Okay, and likewise the entire portion has been uh, completed. But due to the development of the drill carriage or jumbo, that is nothing but previous one TBM, the use of this heading and bench method has been restricted, or it has been decreasing. Okay, so what are the advantages? The work of drilling of holes for the explosives and the removal of muck can progress simultaneously. Okay, so that is nothing but whenever the work you are going to go on further work simultaneously, you can take it off. Okay, and explosives can be in which you are supposed to enter or fix it, that can be done. And corresponding this method requires the use of lower quantities of gunpowder than the full face method. So as I told you, you are requiring lesser amount of explosives that are required to ignite and explode the hard rock. Okay, they are requiring in less method, less amount, okay, or lower quantities. That is the main advantage. Okay, but correspondingly, as the full face method is more advantageous right now in the days, okay, in which the drill carriage or jumbo is available. So this heading and benching method has been not been used more. Moving to the next method, that is the drift method. Okay, so drift is nothing but a small kind of tunnel which is usually having a size of 3 meter by 3 meter. Okay, so it may be this drift may be provided at the bottom, at the top, at the center, or side by side. Okay, so correspondingly in driving a large tunnel, correspondingly it is advantageous to drive drift. Okay, so first through the full length of the portion, so correspondingly you can go on excavating from top, from the bottom, or from the center, or from the side. Okay, and correspondingly you can provide the support, and correspondingly you can go on excavating the other entire cross section of the tunnel. Then you can fill up the explosives and then ignite it and carry out the mucking operation and taking off the whatever is the muck which has been formed. Okay, that is nothing but the drift method. Okay, so correspondingly you can start it from the bottom, top, from the center, or from the side. Okay, that is nothing but going on excavating, then filling up the drilling the holes and exploding it, and you are going to take it off the muck. That is nothing but the rock which are been fallen. So correspondingly the advantages of this are nothing but if the quality of the rock is bad, or if it contains excessive water, so then when it is detected in advance, okay, and in such a case, you are you can detect it and you can do the corrections in time, okay, as compared to other methods. And drift assist in the ventilation of the tunnels, okay. So this is the main advantage of the said drift method, okay, which provides which provides an assistance in the ventilation of the tunnels. Correspondingly, the quantity of the explosives is required less, okay, because you are excavating first and then you are going to drill the holes and place the explosives. So maximum of the excavation is done at the first stage only. And correspondingly, a side drift allows the use of timber to support the roof, okay, as compared to other methods, okay, you are requiring less support in this case. So what are the disadvantages? So it is a time-consuming process as the excavation of the main tunnel gets delayed till the drift is completed. So we have seen that either from the top, from the bottom, from the side, or from the center. So the main tunnel which is required, that task is only remaining beside, and which is resulting delay in the correspondingly completion of the said tunnel excavation. And correspondingly, the cost of the drilling and the removing the muck from the drift is high, as the work has to be done usually using manually operated power driven equipments. Okay, so you are not going to use any latest equipments or uh, which are being uh, automatically operated. Okay, so you are supposed to make use of the manually operated power driven equipments. Okay, the next method is pilot tunnel method. Okay, so this method normally involves the digging of the two tunnels. Okay, so one is called as the main tunnel. Here you can see. Okay, so this is the main tunnel, and this is nothing but the pilot tunnel. Okay, the cross section of this is correspondingly having a size of 2.4 meter by 2.4 meter. So this is being driven parallel to the main tunnel. Okay, so here you can see the main tunnel is here and pilot tunnel is here, and correspondingly it has been parallelly constructed or driven. Okay, so correspondingly they are being driven at cross cuts are being provided, which provides and correspondingly advantage to take place whenever there are certain incidents are there, certain accidents are there, okay, or in order to correspondingly provide the ventilation and lighting in the main tunnel, or to remove the muck as the work will go on. Correspondingly, you can take it off from the said here from the pilot tunnel. But however, the construction of an additional tunnel, so this is nothing but one kind of an additional tunnel, and it in that correspondingly cost of construction increases. Correspondingly, time is also increasing. Okay, so this kind of pilot tunnel method is also not mainly utilized. Okay, so it is higher costly as compared to the other methods. Next method is nothing but the perimeter method. So in this method, the excavation is carried out along the perimeter or periphery of the section, and this method is also known as German method. So nowadays, this also method is not being used. But now the method which is the last method, which I not purposefully mentioned in the starting point. Okay, that I am going to tell you, that is the new technique which has been mostly used. Okay, that is called as NATM method. That is New Austrian Tunnel Machine method. Okay, here you can see simultaneously the two tunnels are being constructed. So this technique is also called as sequential method, in which you can go on doing all the work as that of your TBM, okay, parallelly, and the efficiency of this method is more. Okay, so here you can see more images of NATM method. Okay, so in which you can see the lining and correspondingly the other work is going on, whether the work is been done up to the mark or not. Okay, that is been checked by this making use of this total session. Okay, so that work also can be done. Okay, so that is nothing but the advantage of making use of this NATM method. So right now, as it is having much advantage, so in many of the modern tunnels which are being constructed right now, in that this method is been adopted. Okay, so here we have discussed the points. What are the methods of tunneling, and correspondingly, what are the sequence of tunneling, and what are the methods of construction in the hard rock. Okay. So in the next session, we will see what are the correspondingly methods to be used while constructing the tunnel in the soft ground or soft soil. Okay. Thank you.